wanted to, you know, learn more about the community and maybe help out in some small ways. Hence, you know, Keith mentioned, well, why don't you join the commission? So here I am. I'm a journalist in most of my career, and I've been involved in 3 business startups, so I'm relatively sensitive to sympathetic to people trying to get a business off the ground. So I thought it'd be fun, you know, maybe useful to be on this committee.
That's great. That's great. And I think everyone introduced themselves for the most part, but we really enjoyed having you here, and thank you for volunteering. It's, you know, it's a great way to give back to the city. I think you'll find that we try to be a pretty low-key group here, but we know that we have a very important mission in the city. So again, thank you for joining. But yeah, I think everyone introduced themselves. Okay, perfect. Great. All right. Perfect. And so, Mike, we'll just give you another chance, see if you can hear us on Zoom. Okay. All right. So continuing on. Good. Okay. Just moving on to approval of minutes. We do have 2 sets of minutes that were included by Sierra. We didn't have a quorum in November, but there's still some minutes there that we should approve. And then, of course, your December minutes. So I'll make a motion that those are accepted as emailed.
I'll second that, but one personal caveat to the November minutes. My name is spelled wrong a few times in it. So, outside of that, it all looks good.
Okay, with those changes to Cameron's name, any discussion? No? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
Wait, so who's second? Cameron.
Cameron. So those are approved for November.
I have
You have sound. So it will be 4-0.
I can approve December, but I have to.
The same for November, okay. Public comments? Anybody? Mike, give you another shot on Zoom. We have someone on Zoom that has not, responded since we've been on, so. See if they respond, but I guess not. Okay, so no public comment. Then moving on to new business, there's something there about reports.
So it has been there's kind of just an ongoing discussion about what we do with meetings that we record and how other people can kind of get access to them. So we do kind of record our meetings as hybrid. We mostly kind of only use them for notes for the meeting minutes. We haven't really had any personal requests for them to be posted anywhere, but there is a discussion of whether or not we would want them to be posted on GMTV and YouTube. And before that becomes a decision that somebody else is making, I just want us to kind of talk it out as a commission of if we have any thoughts about that, how we would like these recordings and things to be presented to the community. And I don't know if they're really answering the question or as asking the direct question, but
I don't see it reason not to. It's not clear, but
The other similar type board that I sit on, everything's posted.
okay. So GMTV, YouTube, all right.
So with GMTV, would that be any change to what we have set up here? Would it require like a camera or something else?
It should, from my understanding, it wouldn't require a different camera. We would just be sharing all of our Zoom recordings with, I guess, the GMT folk, and then they will upload it on their stations and on YouTube.
My concern was just you put it or something being required, but if that's the case.
Yeah, at this time, I have not been told that we would be required for that.
We don't have any special equipment for the other one, it's just the Zoom.
Yeah.
recording.
Okay.
So Liv isn't gonna join us until close to 6 o'clock for the training, so we can sit down and full business.
Got So we're moving to old business, business outreach update. I think, unless anyone has, any commissioners have update from business outreach. If not, I think what I was hoping to do is especially because Sierra sent this in Excel format. If each commissioner could just assign themselves to a business, and we can do that way, there's no duplication. Most of us are here, all of us. With Jason technically still.
Jason and
Officially on, so I think everyone's here, so, with that in mind, I think, if anyone has a specific. Business that they'd like to. Attach themselves to, I can go with any of them, so if there's anyone.
Are you gonna update it?
If you want to just put, if someone says that they want their.
You can enable editing.
So you got A plus
Data,
creative
data.
construction,
Enable admin.
advanced behavior.
Is there a way to prioritize this to say those with storefronts and then those without storefronts? Just
Is there, why would you,
for timing.
Do any of these not have storefronts in the city?
A
I
plus
mean-
creative construction.
not everyone is a brick and mortar, but they are a business.
Yep.
So I guessing, are you guys wanting to only target brick and mortar?
No, I'm just thinking priority wise, should we do the brick and mortar first and then go back to the remaining? Which is more important? Or is it all of them?
I have a person say, oh.
Okay,
I
never mind.
Up to you guys, I'm sure.
I'm good.
Frozen tattoo and piercing's not there. Just let you know,
He's fine.
yes. Well, I think that, I don't know who else was, that wasn't even the most recent tattoo shop either.
It's,
There's nothing right now.
Tommy's not,
That's not Tommy's, I own that address, there's nothing.
okay.
The,
Leave that.
Tommy's down further on Thames Street. Closer to like 160.
Do you want us to all start with just one in particular?
Do you want me to print this and then everybody can kind of just fill in their names and then we could
Sure.
Sure.
That's fine.
do that last, you said that's not there, I need to double check. With this, so all of this is getting pulled from Blue Dot, so bringing that up kind of brings it to the focus, like we'll be trained on Blue Dot today, but we still need to go back through all the information that was generated, because some of this information is from the tax office. Our initial data load onto this was a couple years ago, so information may be out of date, but it really is up to us to kind of go through and kind of skim through what's real, what's not real, and at least provide those notes and updates in that system, so.
I would hope that Blue Dot has really update, no?
They do, but they don't, I mean, they update their information, but it's not like on the ground, they're not gonna get all the information that we
Based
get.
on probably business personal property, of which, like, I just know, for example, like the tattoo guys, there's 3 different operators that were in that same address, they all 3 owe business personal property taxes that they didn't pay.
Yeah.
Cause I had talked to the town assessor about it last week. So they're probably still on some record somewhere, because they haven't collected them, closed it out.
Okay.
And I bet we don't do an update.
That's kind of our job, I guess, to really is to, if we're gonna use Blue Dot, is to update the information with. I've been chatting about for years now.
Yeah.
Scares me, get into our brains. and update.
So we'll pass that around. So everyone can fill it out.
See, maybe I could stop by and you can give me a quick brief on what each commissioner would do for each business.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
We have sort of a list of, which actually, to that point, we may need to update it because there may not be some of the grant opportunity. The newsletter, okay, yeah, so it's we had a couple, just a couple basic questions. A big piece is updating Blue Dot, which is the platform that we use to track businesses. You came to a good meeting because we'll go over that today. So updating that and then making sure that they're aware of everything that's available to them. One of the pieces that we'll talk about in just a minute here is our grant program through this commission. That's a big one that we want to promote because we want to spend that money.
Yeah, the $2,500.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a big one. And then there's also, so it's basically a conversation, letting people know that we're here, but yeah. Chair will give you more detail.
Can I come back and fill this in?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, are you signed, we sent you up the business newsletter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the information that's usually in the business newsletter is where we then go out and share with, businesses we're talking about, it's easier to update. Sorry if you just said that and I'm repeating. Did we? I know they're filling that out, so did you want to, and there's no updates for business outreach?
I don't believe so. I think
Okay.
Do we want to talk a little bit about how the ribbon cutting ceremony went when we were there?
Yeah, we can do that. You wanna give it from your perspectives here? And we can include it in that.
I'll let you guys go.
So we did 3 ribbon cuttings followed by a sort of community gathering at Outer Light afterwards. And I think all of it went well. You know, it was mostly staff members. We had Gwen was there. She's the only commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mayor. Gwen was there from city council. We had a few commissioners there, and then I think 1 or 2 members from the public that were there as well, and sort of went to all 3 ribbon cuttings. We were at Twisted Misty, who provided samples and really helped us understand what that business, like how they create their products and that sort of thing. So that was great. And then we went to, I'll just go through the businesses first. Angelique Aesthetics was, again, very interesting because I assumed that was just like a salon of sorts, like, hair, but it's not at all. It's like skincare and treatments and things of that nature. And so went through that. And then finally, Alley on Thames, which is a salon. And so, we're able to connect with all of them. Each of them also had, family members attend. So it was a great deal for them. We took, pictures of the ribbon cutting that was posted in the newsletter and I believe on Facebook as well and the other socials. So we spend about 15 to 20 minutes at each spot, allowed the business owner to say a few things. We said a few things, did the ribbon cutting and tried to socialize a bit. And then I think the event afterwards at Outer Light was also great food. And, it was great to just sit down and talk to folks. So from my perspective, I think it went well. Huge thanks to Sierra for doing the majority of that work to get that off the ground. But Cameron,
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great opportunity for community outreach and meeting everybody, for the owners and everything. I would be definitely very excited to do more ribbon cuttings in the future for different businesses. And I thought the timeline worked really well. I was a little concerned about trying to fit all of them in one night kind of thing. But I thought it went really well. The flow was pretty nice and we were able to sit and chat with everyone for quite a bit, I thought, for each of the stops. So it was a good experience overall.
What about you, Sue? Anything to add?
No, there's nothing bad on my part. I liked it. I thought it was good. I was also a little bit concerned about whether or not the timeline was gonna work, but it worked perfectly. And the thing I liked most about it is the conversations we ended up having from it, the connections we were able to make with like Angelina Aesthetics and Twisted Misty, also followed up with applications for our minor facade improvement grant. And then we also had a really good discussion at Outer Light about doing more business programming, getting businesses more involved and just hearing their opinions of things that want to happen. So we definitely want to bring those people back to this group and have more of a discussion. But I think the more that we're out there and doing these kinds of engagement and bringing people together, I think it's just more benefits and things that can happen for the city and really start to make a cohesive kind of business community, because there used to be one here, but there isn't one here now, so it's kind of like just filling a void a little bit, but in our own It's been a while, but no, it was fun. Lots of good meetings.
Good, you know, I realized that not here's the G. Aaron, talk a little bit.
I did, well, he's more than welcome to. I took it out because I didn't know if he had anything, because usually sends me something. He has a clue that you put that.
No, I'm just getting into the swing of 2024.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. Perfect, all right, so then continuing on the agenda, sorry, my pen came apart in my pocket here, so I'm trying to fish out all the little pieces. So continuing on, the EDC ordinance revision update, that was, according to Sierra, was accepted by council on Monday. There were some little.
There were a few delays,
details,
about exactly how an ordinance gets updated, but we worked through that on a staff level. And we got the initial review, the initial approval this past Monday. This week, it will, go to its legal notice, and then it will come back to the city council within a month for them to do a final, vote on it. So hoping that that happens before our next meeting, but if not, at least we're moving this forward.
As a reminder, that which is in your, it's in your packet, you know, the updated ordinance. That ordinance needs to be updated before we can update our bylaws. So we are waiting on that, so we'll have to push off the bylaw update until we have the ordinance approved. So again, hopefully in March is really the goal at this point for that. But at least we have progress. So, has it been that long since the council approved the ordinance? Is that what the issue was?
It was more so on the city clerk side of just the protocol. That went with that.
Glad we were the guinea pig. So, like that. Great. So, oh, okay. So then the other piece was, or the next piece was the grant program updates. So, you know,
There are no other revisions to the bylaws, right? I just want to make
I
sure that
think
we as a commission are done with them.
yeah, unless anyone else has anything, I think we've gone through that quite a few times. I think so. I would assume that we're fairly good at this point.
And Mike, I know you're probably receiving all this, but you obviously now have time to review, and if you have any comments you wanna add, you can do so before or at the next meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So in the economic development grant program, I believe we again had everything pretty much set. I think there was just one minor change that we were still set to make, which was close to the end, and we didn't have a chance to make that change. So you know, it's basically the timeline and the checklist, which, you know, obviously Sierra's done a great job of updating those two pieces. So
For the timeline, I did just give a range of about 3 to 6 months just to go through the entire process, but really notating that it is dependent on the applicant and how quickly they can get their project completed, and then all of the approvals that are needed. So yes, if there is, please review. If the language sounds clear, great. If it needs a little bit of tweaks, just let me know.
I don't know if everyone had time to review this. Obviously, I did.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
that's-
double checking with Sierra.
Yeah.
So if we want, you know, now that we have this updated version, it's up to the commission whether we want to just approve it now or whether we push this off to the March meeting. I would say if we pushed it off to the March meeting, we should probably have like an effective date of maybe the end of the fiscal year. You know, that gives anyone, I don't know if we have any in-flight submissions, we'll get to that piece. But that at least allows you know, a period of time for the new rules to come into effect. I don't think there's anything that we really made more restrictive in the process. I think we decided against most of those. So if anything, it makes it, you know, a little bit easier, especially like the definition of a facade, that sort of thing. So there's also the argument of.
Well, we did add that applicants, or maybe I just need to confirm, at some point we added that applicants have to show a 25% match towards this, but I know we had some back and forth about it. We're taking it out.
Yeah. That was my mistake.
Yeah, that was we decided.
So I would just say if we could go back. If we didn't vote on it tonight, so that we could just go back through and double check. That everything is really
That's,
the way that we want it to.
Yeah.
I know with some of the track changes, the format is gonna be a little bit off, but once we're good on that, then I can go back and make those adjustments.
yeah, especially with
Um,
that, I do see that now that that's still in here, so I think
Yes.
we shouldn't approve it tonight, so. Yeah, that's, in addition to reaching out to the business that you put your name next to, I think just reviewing this. The grant program, the changes here, and even, the bylaws that were in there, because both we can hopefully approve at the next meeting. And so again, with the removal of that 25% match, I think that'll allow us to put it into effect immediately, because if anything, it just allows for more people to apply for different projects, so. Any questions, comments from anybody else? Also gives Michael some chance to review it and can then also.
I did look at it. I
Oh,
didn't
good.
see the 25% match, because it's been taken out.
Yeah. So perfect, okay, all right, so we'll come back to that. Great, so next.
So the EXP one, or the other one? So that's in the-
Next goes to programming.
Sorry. Is everybody receiving their emails fine
Mhm.
for our stuff? Oh. Sorry, just.
It comes as part of the calendar invite.
Huh?
Most of the time you send as part of the
Yeah.
calendar invite.
Is that still okay for, I'm just making sure, because I know not everybody, there's been a few little glitches with the email, so I just wanted to. Double check.
Sometimes I go in my spam.
Yeah,
I
same.
find it.
You have two of my emails, so it helps, so I get it.
So-
Usually, yeah, we
And mine go to your spam sometimes?
Yeah, but I've got good at checking every couple of days.
Okay.
I don't know why.
You may have an African prince that also wants to give you $1 million, so. Exactly.
And then we'll follow up to see, make sure that you're getting everything. I'm sorry.
No, we're on programming, so.
Oh, so, for programming, I was thinking that we could, like, our next event could be something that's focused on the funding opportunities. Highlighting things that we're working on, but then also, we are still in the midst of, getting everything together with the Women's Business Development Council for the American Rescue Plan money for small business support. So it's trying to coordinate so that we can do a outreach for both of those, or all three of those programs. And maybe even inviting some people from. Well, WBDC also does like the Connecticut Boost Fund, maybe somebody from sector, and then we can invite businesses and just have funding. Event potentially.
Yeah, sounds great. Let us know how we can. You do a great job at event planning, Sarah.
If anybody wants to help, I'm definitely,
Yeah, let us know what we can do that on.
to good.
Sure.
So, it sounds like we're gonna have a working meeting in March. I'll probably just shoot for this in April. I was gonna line it up with our regular commission meeting. Are there any reasons for why maybe we need to?
I think as long as this, the only reason why April may not be great is if for whatever reason we don't end up voting on, the bylaws of the ordinance change. But we can try to do that quickly at the beginning of the April meeting, if that's the only thing on top of my mind that, would throw that off, but otherwise I don't think we're working on anything too big that can wait.
Okay.
April sounds fine to me. What's the deal?
We could also, if we wanted to use this opportunity, to follow up with the businesses on the programming that they would like to do. A lot of the stuff that they were talking about with us at Howard Lake, dealt with the holidays. During it was holidays, we were doing this,
Right.
parades, decorations, or just some type of something to get people to come out to the street, so I could curtail it, so it's a funding and future programming ideas kind of something. April.
You have a couple of events listed here, community engagement.
Yes, so just to keep you guys informed, the Planning and Zoning Commission has continued their public hearing for the GCR zoning amendments. So they will be meeting again February 21st, starting at 6 or 6:30. It is, I'm sorry.
That was quite a meeting last month.
It was, there are a lot of, Margaret, thank you so much for what you were doing online to try to deal with the tension that was going on there, but
This is the second meeting?
Yeah, for the last one that was continued,
Yeah.
I was on the Zoom and I was responding to a lot of people's comments.
Oh, were you? Okay. Yeah,
Clarifying.
I couldn't.
Clarifying for them what this actually is.
Yes, good.
versus what they think it is.
yeah, it's a lot,
I've had that conversation, people have come into work who live in the city and they're complaining about it and I educate them on
Yeah.
on what it actually is and they leave like, oh, okay, that's not what we thought.
and I really do appreciate everyone's role, and I like that Leslie came and talked to us to educate us on exactly what that amendment was,
Oh, yeah.
so that we actually could go out and share, and none of it was like, you guys are all entitled to your own opinions, and I'm liking that you guys have been able to openly share those opinions with the planner or P&Z commissioner. So I appreciate all that effort, but it's still in discussion. There's been mixed reviews about it. I think in a nutshell, from my understanding of it, the community does want to see some type of development within the city, but it's us really identifying what the appropriate density is and then where those things are really located. 6 stories seems to be
That
Focus,
was,
but
that's the thing that nobody really.
It's the focus, it's just such a, like a
Tiny little.
tiny little, piece of it, and where they think that it would go up, it wouldn't work because of the other rules there around parking and. I don't get it.
So there's a lot, so we'll be continuing that discussion on the 21st and kind of see what the Planning and Zoning Commission is going to, how they're going to move that whole process forward. On February 29th, I'm participating in Women's Business Development Council's Academy for Small Businesses. So basically they have a group of entrepreneurs that are going through this academy, and then they create a pitch for their project that they then present to business advisors, and I will be serving as a business advisor. This is something that could be opened up to other commissioners if they want it to be, maybe not on the 29th, but in future meetings, if you want it to be a part of that business advisory board and just meeting new businesses and understanding what are some of the things that go on. I think it's helpful for me just to kind of to do that very thing of hearing the ideas that they have coming and really understanding what resources they need to connect to and how we can best serve in that capacity. And then on March 7th, we are the city's collaborating with the Marine Science High School for a youth climate summit. Their focus is going to be on water quality and how youth can be better environmental stewards for water quality, and how water quality is being impacted by climate change with a hyper focus in this area. We do have about 150 students that are already interested in this event. It is going to take place at Ocean Beach, and so I think it's really good. And I like the amount of engagement we're getting, and it'll be interesting to see what you've actually.
150 students from just marine science or from other schools?
From all over,
Okay.
yeah. So marine science, Fitch, Norwich Free Academy, wanna say New London, but I'm not exactly sure what division of that. They're really targeting any of the environmental groups. That they even were established in the schools or that were to be established, so. They're still kind of getting word out there, but no, it's a whole southeastern Connecticut kind of outreach push for
High school focus, right? High school focus.
high school focus.
The business in Mystic. Clothing. North Swell. They,
Mhm.
you know, they have proceeds, their money goes towards cleaning beaches and stuff, and they go to that. So they go private business, that thing, Groton, that might be interested in getting involved with that.
And is it, what's his name?
It's called North Swell,
Northwell.
it's just before the drawbridge on the left. The owner used to, I think he's still a partner, but, you remember Iriella?
Yeah.
Which was 10% went to saving the elephants or so he was one of the owners of that started that, and then they sold out, and now he did basically the same thing with cleaning beaches and harbors and stuff like that. He lives in Waterford. It's not the city, but it's,
About the town of Groton is part, like,
yeah.
this is a really good collaboration, I think, with everyone. Doing things, so, town is involved. We don't need no live, but since,
You do have some submissions.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I do not have completed application, but I did at least want to give you an update on the things that I do have. So Barkin Pumpkins LLC, as we know, they're doing siding work, or they've done siding work for their building. They're applying for the front facade. It is still on hold because they are actually having issues getting in touch with the electrician and contractor. It is the winter time, so I think that is a factor of it. They are not anticipating that they're going to have this done until spring. So I did just. I mean, we have received just about everything other than the building permit not being closed. And I think last time we had a really robust discussion about when that 6-month time frame starts. So based on our last conversation, this sounds like we received the application within the 6 months of the work being completed. So this is still okay. But I just wanted to let you guys know the project's not gonna be, that approval isn't gonna be there until. Yeah. For Angelina Aesthetics, so she's preparing 2 applications. Our first application is for the design that she has completed at the facade of her building. So she basically has all of her. She has everything. The only thing that we're waiting for is a certificate of approval because the contractor did decide to not pull out a permit. So now we're going through this process of permit things. So she submitted her permit and is going through that process. I'm gonna work with building and zoning and seeing kind of time-wise if they expect to get that done within the next couple of weeks, and then maybe we can hold a special meeting, or is it something that's not gonna happen until like next week? So I will send you guys some more info, but yeah, everything else is good. We're just waiting. For the permits.
Is there a possibility of maybe recommending to like building that if the sign is not changing in size, that maybe a simplified permit would be available? You know, if the permit was approved at some point, that size of the sign relative to the size of the building, they're just changing, like refacing it, you know, maybe a simplified $25 permit or something.
From my understanding, the permit process is simple, it's not being followed. So the contractors, which I have a call out, so she used Critical Signs, and I have a call out to them to kind of ask them what their process is. And I keep kind of telling applicants, like, you may have not done it before, but it is your response, like, it is the responsibility of the applicant to make sure that all the approvals are there. But then also, I guess, even though it's the same size, because it's an improvement, it needs to still go through that
Yeah.
permit process.
Only critical to
Buford's,
Buford's,
yeah.
Margaret did her own permit, he would not do it.
Oh, is that what it was?
He did not do it, Margaret had to do it herself.
Yeah, she pulled from,
Okay.
I was trying to remember that.
So
Okay, I
maybe
couldn't
that the
think of it.
sign guy just doesn't wanna deal with it, he wants to just make signs,
Okay,
and that procedure, that's fine. If people apply, we could probably let them know that, hey, if you're gonna do it for signage, you need to apply for a permit first.
and that's why I try to tell people, like, you gotta make sure you go through whatever project you're doing, with the appropriate people, but one way or another, we do get to the bottom of it, and it is a similar issue with Twisted Misty. She also used critical signs for the new sign and did not get the permit pulled. She has applied for the permit, so now we're just waiting for that process to go through.
Just at least ask critical signs to tell them, hey, you should pull a permit.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
something.
friends with them, I will let them know, he's out of town for like 2 weeks right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that may be a
Yeah.
part of the process, they're asking him, he's not around.
Gotcha. And I don't think when Buford's did it, if she did it, then I don't think that he has to be there for the inspection or anything, it's just.
Yeah.
Any follow up, but yeah,
I guess maybe an inspection would be to make sure that, hey, now the sign is double the size, make sure it's not, right?
exactly.
Um,
Yeah, just to make sure that they said whatever they said they were gonna do in their permit is what they do. Yeah, good stuff. The other thing though, Twisted Misty is, one thing she's currently held up with is the tax office. So obviously she's a tenant and doesn't deal with property taxes, but that property did just turn over in ownership, and there's been a little bit of. Right now, it's showing that taxes are delinquent, so I'm trying to work with the property owners to,
Has nothing to do with the tenant, that should not fall over at all.
but it's part of our application process.
But not
Required.
Oh, because it goes on the property owner's property.
Let's look at that language.
Yeah, because we're investing in the property by changing signage, yeah.
And I remember that was something that our
So-
finance office was,
The current owner now is Lonergan, they'll pay, they'll square it up.
yeah, and honestly, it doesn't even have to be paid in full. There could be a payment arrangement with the taxes and with Groton utilities. But there has to just be, you just can't be delinquent in.
When did the turnover happen? Like within the last month or two?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of.
Yeah.
Getting everything posted and caught up.
Yeah,
It-
they said their records say as of the 5th, they're caught up, so I'm just doing some outreach to the property owners to see if we can get that rectified.
Yeah, they would square it up there.
Yeah. I figured it wouldn't be an issue for the new group, but I guess maybe something that just paperwork or something.
This does say paid in full, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it does say. It does say just of the property, not, whoever the applicant is, it must be paid. Percent of the application.
Well, yeah, because you don't want,
But if someone's in.
But some people are in arrange.
but what stinks is it's not the tenant's fault if the property owner's behind on taxes, right? But I see why we would have that restriction, because we don't wanna. Put money into a building, the owners have to pay the responsibilities.
I gotta double check that. But I think two good applications, actually both Angelina Aesthetics and Twisted Misty. They are requesting money that is under, like Angelina Aesthetics is only requesting like $372, and Twisted Misty is like $877. So they are definitely going to be back before us, so with additional things just to they're trying to take advantage of it if they can. For these applications, since they are kind of in the works, and I think there's something that could be done within the next couple weeks. If everything is done, I was thinking that we could go to get, have a special meeting maybe on the 21st, February 21st, to vote on these, if you guys were available. That way it could go, before the, city council. We could
So-
present at the next committee of the whole meeting, if we were able to.
Or
before
created that special planning and zoning meeting is this one.
It is, but we could have it before.
I'll be in Pittsburgh, that's reasonable. I'm up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, the 21st day is the same day as the,
Yeah, it was
thing,
just
but I
questions if
was,
you wanna be in the same building. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
can try to
figured we
get
could do,
virtual.
yeah. Figured we could do a Zoom in, we could
Perfect.
have the conversation. And kind of keep it moving from there. And I would actually need to do it like. We could do it between 5 and 6, that would be great, because I do need to be, I do help with the. planning
Yeah, if it works out that way, yeah.
Mhm.
If we have complete application, we can send out the invite and then just try to make sure that we have a quorum part of two, you know, that will attend, and then, you know, it'll be a 2-minute meeting. This will just approve that.
Well, if you're in Pittsburgh, you can call in.
Assuming I'm not done with my workshops and on our way to dinner. If it's between 5 and 6, yeah, maybe I perfect.
The perfect window.
Might be the perfect.
We're planning this around Margaret.
Please don't.
But I think that's all I have for
That's it.
today. And I'm just gonna check my phone to see if. Liz,
Anyone else have anything to discuss or seriously?
I was wondering whether there's a way we could help zoning committee on this outcry, Margaret, that you were trying to quell last time. I mean, if there had been a 1-page, even 2 or 3 paragraphs, you know, being more clear about what the amendments to the zoning rules entail, we might have diffused a lot of the public anger. You know,
Like an FAQ. you know?
Yeah, no, what, yeah, 1-page summary.
yeah, I don't know,
I think-
this just struck me when I was sitting listening to the
Yeah.
debate. I'm, you know, on the other side of that, I do know some of the people who were the most outspoken, and they do tend to be a little cabal that gets together before a lot of these meetings to
Did I think
stir up things.
the key thing was the issue right now is get 2 buildings to basically. So if you're gonna build up density, you need to pull that out. And then what they're allowing back in is the 4 stories. It's not 6, it's 4 stories. Plus certain types of businesses into that zone where you can go, and along with it comes parking requirements,
Right.
green space requirements, a number of other things that come along with it. The 6 stories, if somebody came in and said, hey, I wanna build 6 stories, they would have to go through a whole special process anyway, that's not.
A
It's-
very
it's-
rare.
Yeah,
occurrence.
what they're trying to do is default it to no more than 4. And then kind of go from there. And I think somebody pointed out at some point that really the only place you can put 6 stories is where the skating rink used to be.
That's exactly what those people I talked to, I said, you know, do you care if there's 6 stories by the roller rink? No, that's
then
the
that-
only place I can go, so. You know.
Yeah, cause you know, they get worried about the Spicer and.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there, if you got 4 stories, and you, let's say you put 100 apartments in there, you have to have, let's say, 125, 150 parking spaces. Plus certain greenage, plus, you know, there's not a whole lot of room down there to do all of that.
well, as a comparative newcomer, I mean, that area cries out for something.
It is
And,
multi-use.
you know, I was really surprised at I wouldn't call it opposition, but
Well, I feel like that comes up whenever we talk about, I mean, we don't even have a
Any change.
developer,
Yeah,
you
any
know, that's necessarily bringing this to us, it's just the the idea of allowing it so that a developer could come in. I mean, talk about an opportunity, people talk about this was made so many times. You wanna build up Thames Street, you need to have more people, that's part of it. I mean, we have plenty of people now, but, you keep. 100 apartments worth of people in the city, that's 100 apartments worth of people who would use a business on Thames Street, you might walk to work on Thames Street,
It doesn't always introduce traffic. So it's just trying to help people think through, not what they're reading online, but what's actually in the,
Yes, she'll be joining us. So just.
and
I
but
told
to
her
your point, that would be kind of nice.
talk about a few things, so.
I think we had a good suggestion here, if there was a way maybe to come up with a one-pager summary of the zoning change. That we could use as talking points when.
Even 6 bullet points that would say something like, there is provision for buildings up to 6 stories. We expect that would be an exceedingly rare occurrence and would require all sorts of special permission and could only take place in this specific area. Because that just kept coming up in every set of comments.
So it's a little bit more about clarity.
Yeah, clarity and the other components of it, I mean, where you're allowing, with it, you're allowing certain types of businesses, breweries. Specifying the sizes and things along those lines of their businesses.
Let me get situated, so. I'm gonna put that request into the city planner and the planning and zoning commission to see kind of what. I think they should develop what that 1-page summary thing is, so that we can share, but.
I'd be happy to help them do that. 6 bullet points would be sufficient.
I agree, I'm about to say, cause it is. There's some unclarity, there's a few, and it just needs to be clarified. There needs to be some clarifications made and a few things better explained, and I know the commission is trying to work through that a little bit, but I do agree that they at least maybe a little 1-page cheat sheet, of exactly what everything is with them. So I will put that request in. And Liv, hey Liv, is now with Blue Dot, and Liv, I believe you have all the permissions you need to share your screen. And
Okay.
We can do a quick little round of introductions just so you can know who's in the room. I know you can't see everybody on camera.
Yep.
You guys all know me, so Fallon, I'll let you go.
My name is Fallon, how are you?
I'm Nisha, I've been in through one of yours, your presentations before.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm Margaret down there, I've also been through your presentation.
And I'm off camera. I'm Mike, the new face at the table.
And we have Aaron works in the back, somebody, Matt is also here with us, just stepped out for a moment. That's
Great. Well, awesome. Thanks for everyone's attention. I won't make this super long or complicated. I want to make sure that, especially for new people, that they know where the things they need to access in Blue Dot are. And if you have any questions about how to access business information, how to log any of your activity, that's what I'm here for. So I'll start sharing my screen. But before I jump in, are there any questions off the bat that we wanted to clarify or jump into?
A real quick one first, Liv.
Yeah.
Just on the homepage that we come to, what is the quickest way to pull up a very specific business? Because I've been hitting, in the My Community all and then searching. Is that the quickest way to find a particular business?
That's the quickest way. We're gonna make that My Community, like that active all clickable, so it just takes you, so you don't have to do 2 clicks to get there. But right now, yeah, it's the fastest way. Correct.
And then I think we had a question just on how the business database gets updated. I know the initial poll a while ago now, and as we were talking about doing some outreach today, we're noticing at least one, if if not more, businesses have been closed for a while or have changed ownership, a couple of years ago. Is there any way that is getting updated in the background, or is that just completely up to us to update as we go along?
Yeah, so right now that's up to your team to update moving forward. Just because we don't want to automatically archive any businesses. But within the next year, we're going to be able to pull in Google data from Google to be able to show, like, we'd be able to show you in our data refresh module to show you these businesses show that they're permanently closed on Google. Do you want to archive them? So that's a module that's coming really soon. So, but the data refresh module is on the platform. Once one person clicks through it, it won't be accessible, but I'll show you where that is. Guessing Sierra will be the person who will probably go through that. But if I share my screen, I can kind of show you that. So here, on the top section of the page, you'll see the quick action that says the data refreshes here. If I clicked here, it's going to take me into a quick flow that shows me just like an overview of the data refresh that was done at the beginning of January. So there's 147 new businesses and 154 business updates. So what that means with the business updates is that sometimes we find that businesses have more employees that we had in the last data run that we did. They've changed addresses, they've changed revenue numbers, etc. So that's what those business updates means. And then the new businesses are new businesses that we've seen that have opened. So then you can go through the flow and choose if you want to add any of those new businesses or if you want to archive them, and then review the new business changes that have came as well. So this is a flow that you guys can walk through. I don't want to click through it because then it'll disappear. But this is how our quarterly refreshes. They show up here and they show the data updates. So soon we'll hopefully have that archive option as well in this flow. So
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah. So the most important thing, especially for the commission, is in the My Community section, we break it up into prospect and active businesses. So in the prospect, I know we have a lot of different property locations and areas within the community that were imported. And there's a lot of different labels on this left-hand side as well. So you can see these different property types if I wanted to look by the different options. You see all the commercial open lots that exist here. For whoever is working within these prospects, they could click on any of these profiles. If there was any information that we knew on this, such as the contact for this property, that shows up all here. And then you're able to see different information such as the acreage, the building condition, use code, etc. All of that information is stored on these profiles for all of these different properties.
Liv, why?
And then in the active business section.
Oh,
Yeah.
that question.
Yeah, if you scroll up there, there's multiple different entries for 0 Bishop Aves. Is there a reason why they're duplicated?
I believe that those had a little bit of a different I think that those were all shown as different technical properties because they have a different property owner address on those ones. We wanted to show every single this was something, we talked about, Sierra and I had talked about when we imported this, but we could also merge those as well. But these were all technical, different properties. And there wasn't a full, it was just for the different, I don't think that a lot of those had lots. I can go back in my notes, but this was a little bit ago, so I don't exactly remember.
And also our tax office. I think that's just the way that they classify a lot of properties, like in Groton, you'll see there's a lot of zero something, and that's just. It's just zero, I don't know. Some with that.
All right,
and the
that's
utility thing.
I just, yeah, okay.
Yeah, cause we could always switch it to show the property owner address as this, but the property owner isn't necessarily the same place as the vacant lot. So I think that these are, yeah, it was the way that the property, it came from the tax property section, but really soon there'll be the ability to merge on your front end too, so you'd be able to just merge two records. So if we wanted to go that route as well, or Sarah and I can chat about how we want to organize those, because we can do a lot of things on our side, but just the way that it's going to come in from the spreadsheet. I remember we talked about it and decided just to keep them all, even though they look really similar. So but in the active business section, this is where we have all the active businesses in Groton. So on these profiles, you'll see the different labels that are attached to these businesses showing up on this little ribbon. And you can also see these labels showing up on this left-hand ribbon here as well. So if I wanted to just look for businesses within a certain area, I can expand this map view and show that I just want to see businesses that are within like city limits, which is all the businesses. Don't know why the TIF district isn't loading. And then if I wanted to look for businesses within a certain age range, I could see businesses that have opened within the last 2 years, or businesses that have different revenue classifications. Can see that in here. So if you were meeting with a business and you updated their revenue to be 1.5 million, it would automatically move them into a different category here on this left-hand side. I'll show you how to do that. But with the labels, you don't have to do anything, and that'll automatically update them. And then here where you see the business size option, that's also the employee count. So if I wanted to see businesses between 10 and 20 employees, I could show that here. And these also move automatically. If you meet with the business and you're updating it to show that there is 25 employees, it'll automatically move it to the 20 to 50 category here. So if I go onto a business profile, so on this Paul's Pasta Shop, on this business wall, this would show all of the different types of communication that are shown on this wall. So here, this is where we would show if you have email connected and you're sending emails back and forth to the contact here. This is where those emails will post. You could also do things like log a meeting, a call. You could send a survey. I can't do it because I'm not a user. You can log a note, or this is also getting improved really soon. But to log an EDC business outreach, all you need to do is click on custom and click on that outreach, and then click on the date and time of the visit and any of your notes from this visit, and it shows up on this business wall. And then we can keep track of how many business outreach we did, who conducted those outreaches, the notes from those. It's a really valuable thing that we can have to track and keep, everyone could be able to access the note from this. So it's a great tool for collaboration. Are there any questions on this business wall?
No questions. I was just gonna say, I do, like, the wall does come in useful for me. I know Nishant has been using this for a couple businesses that he reaches out to, so for me to be able to go and see what he was talking to about them, it just helps our conversations line up so that we're all on the same page, and at least keeping the conversation with the business owner as well consistent, so it's just not becoming confusing.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. Well, additionally, a few more things to point out is that here, this is a great example, is that Sierra has a task here due at the end of the month to update business profile information and share the grant opportunities. So Margaret is going to get an email probably on February 27th that says, hey, you have a task due in 2 days. So you'd see here, all she needs to do is click when she gets the email, she can just say, great. And then you can just click on the task and you will have that checked off. So anyone can assign tasks to anybody within the organization. And then you can also get task notifications to your email.
Margaret, you just changed.
I did just change that, like right before Liv got on. And I added my one for the one I chose.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a good idea.
Thank you, Liv. Time me for being late.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Then additionally, the last couple of things I wanted to point out here is that on the profile, so if you saw a business had archived or they closed in the community, this is how you go over and click move to archive. If a business is closed, that's how you can do that to a business. I recommend always archiving rather than deleting, just because it was a business, it could always open again, and it's nice to have information on businesses that have closed rather than fully deleting them. If you want to edit something, like, you met with this business and their address has changed, all you need to do is click on edit profile and you can update their details right here. If you go to contact details and you want to add a contact, you just simply click add contact and enter in the details. In custom data, this is how you could enter in a new, so for estimated location employee count, what you could do is you could jump in right here and you could update it to 25. If I update this to 25, it's going to change these, this business size number over here, which is great. You could update the sales volume. If you know it's 900,000. And if you knew their different NICS codes, you could always update those as well. On the user grade guide, these are we have fields that we pulled in from the city. So we have different sectors, industries. If they are retail and customer facing, those are YN. If they had COVID restrictions, and were the ones from those properties would show up down at the bottom. But we could always add additional custom data fields if there's any sort of initiatives within the commission that you want to start tracking, such as potentially if you want to start tracking how many women-owned businesses or home-based businesses, minority-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, the preferred language of the business owner, the business type, really anything, we can add them as custom fields. So, and then you can, anytime you meet with a business, and if they're a veteran-owned business and you want to indicate that, you would update it on the profile.
I just want to hop in real quick, Liv, since we
Yeah.
so when we are in this tool, I do ask that you guys don't delete anything, either archive the business, even if the business has changed ownership. I know we mentioned like Friendly Tide has changed ownership. I would still say leave the old contact information of that person there. Just make a notate that they're no longer the owner of that entity, and then just add a new contact.
But for something like the tattoo shop or 40 Thieves, do you want us to proactively, if we're in there when we see one that we know has closed, to go ahead and archive it?
Yeah. Yes, you can proactively go in and archive them. We still get a list of the archive businesses, right? Or no?
Yeah, so you can access your archive businesses down here at any time.
Okay, yeah, so
Yep.
feel free to archive them, yeah. The other thing is, since we can customize this, like, Margaret, I know you said earlier about our list of whether or not we wanted to prioritize brick and mortar over home, that may be something that we want to start to tag in here, whether what those are as well. So we can really customize this tool to make it easy for us to use. So yes, play around with it, see some of it is a lot, some of it is information that I don't know if we would really ever need for what we work with businesses on, but yeah, because we can take some of this stuff down, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we can always clean it up, and that's something that like we can always do together, you and I, on a separate call too. But yeah, I just want to like explain the basics, which is really just like how to add things to the business wall and how to edit a profile. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Those big things on just navigating the platform, feeling comfortable knowing to edit something on a business profile. All you need to do is find the business and then click on profile and then edit those fields. So
and in addition to this, so we have primarily been focused on business outreach, but we're also going to be expanding this to do the commercial property outreach as well. So Liv has already started
Yeah.
to hold that information within Blue Dot. And we're going to kind of fine tune exactly what information we'll be collecting from the commercial property owners. And then starting to have these discussions with them as well.
Yep. I just for timeline that morning, but I and I have to post it here.
Let me see, could you pull either Twisted Misty or Angelina Aesthetics? I think they content on if we just want to show them what a wall looks like. Also, since we have these assignments that you guys did from our list, I will at least schedule what we saw in there so that you guys can keep track of everything.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, so this is a meeting that Sierra logged. You're able to see what she talked about. So this is really awesome if someone else is jumping in and want to see where things are at with Twisted Misty. That you can view these notes. Really great for communication. So awesome.
Do you guys have any questions for Liv or?
Thanks for taking your evening with, we appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry, I was sick, but I appreciate you guys' time and patience. Again, any questions that you have, you can always reach out to me directly. Or you can always send them to Sierra and she can always send them to me as well. Always happy to share. We have a lot of really good updates coming this year with data and then just like usability improvements. So hoping every time you log in, you're seeing it's easier to use. And I know the data can kind of be overwhelming. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible. So appreciate you guys and have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yes. Thank y'all. Bye.
Bye.
This is gonna be helpful for us, but I think we're gonna see, obviously we'll see the value of it when we're doing the business outreach, but I mentioned before that, so the city of Groton is part of Connecticut Main Streets. It's a statewide organization that works with municipalities to revitalize their downtown districts or areas. One of the biggest things that they are working with is working with municipalities to actually start to do an inventory of the commercial space available. That way, when businesses come in or anything, that we actually have that information available. As you may know, the city of Groton, a lot of our vacant spaces are not listed anywhere. So this is another way for us to kind of get ahead of that discussion and stuff. So all the pieces of this will start to come together as we move forward and get them. There are no other questions, anything.
No, I think we can move to adjourn at 6:43.